on, man, it wasn't Texas at that point in history. Everyone knows that state was founded after William Henry Harrison made the Louisiana Purchase in 1974. Movie starts with so much f***ing prehistoric exploration, I'm convinced it's trying to be a 90s version of 2001: A Space Odyssey. All of the seconds of these cavemen assholes walking through a Byzantine maze of pitch-black underground tunnels. Are you not entertained, Cultistans? Shooting your fight scene like this. All of a sudden, MCU action scenes are looking better and better. X-Files, The Secret of the Ooze. This is honestly the weirdest Geico commercial I've ever seen.
Toss it up here, dude.
No way, but wop, this mine.
Kids. Oh, it's okay, Sonny. Happened to a friend of mine in the 7th grade. Just go to the John and stuff some paper towels down your shorts and keep your head down for the rest of the day. At some point, don't you, I don't know, step out of the pool of mysterious goo that's formed right below your feet?
Hey, man. Let's get out of here.
Abandoning your good friend who just ass-planted into a f***ing cave.
Come back, TC. You see the kid?
The primary function of the alien symbiote is clearly to disrupt communication over walkie-talkie. Mission accomplished. Let's see, red hat, so he's a fireman. Blue shirt, must be police too. Yellow pants, oh, is he a minion enthusiast? Why is this uniform? How did the hazmat guys get down there and back up so quickly? And how were none of them affected like the firemen were? Hazmat suits aren't exactly alien-proof.
Mulder, it's me.
Movie waits over 12 minutes to properly X-Files.
They've closed the X-Files.
Great, so we can roll credits now? Also, this expositional dump should be hilariously offensive to this character. Is this really something that Scully needs to remind Mulder of?
Maybe we should call in a bomb threat to Houston. I think it's free beer night at the Astrodome.
While the Astros did, weirdly enough, have a free beer night known as Foamer Night, it only ran from 1974 to 1978. Mulder is around 20 years too late to take part in that tradition.
When I panic, I make this face.
Yo, I did not remember this much goofy banter between the leads in this movie. I know the dialogue wasn't always the snappiest, but this sounds like a team of rom-com writers got together, did a bunch of quaaludes, woke up 15 minutes before the script deadline, and pissed these lines onto a ream of dot matrix printer paper. While the main reason the machine isn't working is because it's unplugged and it has a bomb in it, Mulder still only put 2 quarters in the machine and expected something in return. This isn't the 1980s, which would have been the last time cans of soda only cost 50 cents or less. Mulder totally accidentally himself into the actual bomb, and we're supposed to think this is some sort of act of intuition or something. They save a lot of people in the building, but the agent in charge is killed, so Mulder is technically a murderer. Take that, Californication fans. These assholes use a torch to get into this room, which is chock full of C4, rather than use a battering ram. It's almost like the FBI doesn't know what they're doing sometimes, guys.
Somebody's got to stay here with you.
I just gave you an order. Now get the hell out of here.
Could Locke not even pretend that this could be disarmed? I know he's going to sacrifice himself, but wouldn't anyone question why the bomb squad wasn't at least consulted on this? So dude just sits there staring at the giant bomb for the last few minutes of his life? Wouldn't you at least do something entertaining, like sing or dance or try to rub one last one out? Discount Gwyneth Paltrow!
The fireman and the young boy, they were found in the building?
I'm as confused as Mulder, if not more so. The X-Files has always shown the government to go to extreme lengths to cover up alien but destroying a building and endangering the lives of so many people just to cover up the deaths of 4 people is insane, even for this franchise. Also, were Mulder and Scully supposed to be there? Was part of the plan to find a way to kill them as well? That would actually be kind of genius plotting, but Mulder and Scully weren't assigned to look at the building they were in. The threat was made to the building across the street, and Mulder had Scully look in the other building on a personal hunch. This is a northern Texas-sized mound of convenience.
Agent Mulder, since you weren't able to be on time for this hearing, I'd like you to step outside.
Oh, Mulder's late to the meeting. I'm sure he had a really serious issue that provoked his tardiness. He was probably cleaning his fridge, or feeding his pet toad Sparky, or anything that would have prevented him from being at this incredibly serious meeting on time.
Agent Scully says it was she who ordered you out of the building.
I love the character of Skinner, but I'm also convinced Mitch Pileggi decided to deliver all of his dialogue through a thoroughly clenched jaw, and that's distracting. Donning a blazer while the sleeves of your dress shirt are rolled up. That get all bunchy and your arms will get sweaty. How does Mulder not know this?
Poopy day?
Movie you had Glenn Headley, and you wasted her in a one-scene role by making her say the word poopy. She doesn't even get the decency to be credited as a bartender. She's listed as barmaid in the credits. Barmaid! You had one job, movie. One job! Pissing on the work of Roland Emmerich. While I will sin this, I will also admit I'm a little envious of Mulder right now.
My name is Kurzweil.
That man. He's got the entire alley to urinate in, but he goes right to where Mulder was peeing? He's got to be standing in a giant puddle of Mulder whiz.
The thing you'd never think to check.
Those people were already dead.
Actually, Mulder did ask about this in the hearing before he went to timeout. Remember, he said...
The fireman and the young boy, they were found in the building?
Did he forget to talk about this any further when he went back into the hearing for his turn? Seriously, no further questions or thought about those dead bodies until Bela Lugosi showed up tonight?
I think you're full of shit.
And I think Chris Carter almost wet himself with delight that he could get away with some bombs in this movie script without having to deal with those S&P assholes at Fox.
Are you drunk, Mulder?
I was until about 20 minutes ago, yeah.
Sure, Mulder was just slammered a few minutes ago, knocking over at the bar and downing shots of whiskey, but now he's fine? He does not know how to drunk. If I were Mulder and Scully, I'd be much less worried about alien abduction and much more worried about that giant Bruce Almighty moon that's obviously headed straight for Earth. This franchise has more ominous helicopters than the entirety of the first Suicide Squad movie, and that is saying something. Smoking a cigarette in a site that contains this much compressed gas.
General McCaddies, who requested our coming down here, we were wakened at 3 a.m. and told to get down here immediately.
I want to simply say this works, because there's no way it should, but I have a feeling it might be this easy to get into a restricted government area, and pardon me while I down this shot of Evan Williams before I start thinking about that too much.
You're saying this is a cover-up? Of what?
At this point, the show had been around for 5 seasons and had established the mythology of alien long before now, so why the hell is Scully even asking this?
I think that's it up here.
Did Mulder just leave Scully back at the morgue by herself? Surely the officer would find out sooner or later that they aren't supposed to be down there, and Mulder also has to realize that if they're going out of their way to cover these bodies up, there's also a good chance they would have no issue disposing of Mulder and Scully, although why the government hasn't done that in the 5 seasons leading up to this movie is one of the franchise's biggest sins. Hang on, how long has Fox been an FBI agent? Does he really have to search both internal pockets to grab his badge? At some point, don't you keep it in the same place and develop an instinct for that shit? I can't be sure, but I think he's flashed that thing at least 12,000 times before now, and he easily whipped it out a few minutes ago at the hospital. Did the policeman not think to also walk on this side of the building to look for Kurzweil? How has he not been caught yet? To evade the substantial police brigade that's been dispatched, Kurzweil cleverly walks a few steps down the same alley, still in extremely plain sight of the street.
They call me paranoid.
Actually, they call you spooky. You literally just confessed this to a bartender a couple of scenes prior. Of all the options available to her, why would Scully lock herself into the cold storage room? You think they're not going to look in there? This is like my nephew hiding behind a wall and believing that he disappeared, but I have object permanence and the game is up, kid!
I can't. I'm way past the point of common sense here.
She just did an autopsy on a dude that's turned into a jello mold, but going to the scene of a potential crime is past the point of common sense? The writers of this movie leaned way too hard into Scully being a buzzkill. Also, she's in a basement morgue in a metal-coated closet. Ain't no f***ing way she's getting reception on that cell phone, especially back in 1998. Can't wait until the movie shows us the step-by-step process of how Scully is able to escape undetected. I'm sure that will be God damn it. Gillian Anderson might have the best what-the-f*** eyes in the business, but since we don't get to see what she sees, the scene contains zero suspense, or really anything of interest. There are a lot of scenes like this in the movie, and you have a decent budget now, X-Files. There should be a lot more showing and a lot less telling. Ah yes, the majestic mountain range just on the outskirts of Dallas? Little known fact. This silent, uncredited role was played by John Hurt, just out of habit. I guess I won't be needing this anymore.
I can see it.
Great, so you have plenty of time to jump out of there and seal this whole thing up. Oh, you're gonna go back down and approach the potentially murderous alien. That's a good call. Huh, I didn't realize Fox did an Alien vs. Predator prequel called Alien is Predator.
What are you doing? What are you doing?
Man, they made this decision quickly. Had that dirt ready to pile on and everything. They didn't even have a conference about it up top. This feels more like a we've always wanted to murder Braunschweig and now's our chance, as opposed to protecting humanity from aliens and diseases. In case you confused it with London Broil.
By cooperating now, we are but beggars to our own demise.
Cooperation is the only chance of saving ourselves.
Dude, if I wanted to watch old white-haired men bicker and argue about the world ramifications of declassifying data, I'd watch the Bourne trilogy again. Also, you could, I don't know, try and fight back. Clearly have a lot of info and data on the species that could be used to your advantage.
My lateness might just as well have been absence.
Yes! So next time, go ahead and skip this instead of showing up late for no real reason. Sure, your grandson broke his leg, but this concerns the fate of the planet, man. No need to be late.
Kill Mulder. We take the risk of turning one man's quest into a crusade.
No. Why would this be the reason they don't eliminate Mulder? They've had no issue making Kurzweil look foolish, so how hard would it be to do the same to Mulder? At the very least, get him fired from the FBI. How hard could that possibly be?
You're not FBI agents.
How do you know?
Because y'all look like door-to-door salesmen.
Texas Kid on the brand new bike would be excellent at CinemaSins.
I think they went left.
don't know why I think they went right.
They went straight, of course, and Mulder guesses that. But if a gaggle of tanker trucks went down this dirt road, you don't think they'd be able to see the tracks?
The virus may be extraterrestrial.
I don't.
Wow, that's a huge surprise. What did Scully think was going on here? She found a virus with a protein she's never seen before, did an autopsy on a shell of a firefighter, and, I can't stress this enough, has worked with Mulder for 5 years. Train car, tankers. Excitement? Mulder and Scully are getting super lucky with these road placements. Why is this road? Conspiracy boobs. Mulder and Scully are able to wind their way through a cornfield to get to their destination. Have you ever tried to walk through a cornfield in a straight line? It's impossible. There are corn stalks everywhere, and they all look the goddamn same. You know what this movie about aliens and transcontinental machinations and international cabals doesn't need? Jump scares. I know these little carry the alien virus, but why were they released into the domes now? Or at all?
Did you get stung?
I don't think so.
How is that possible? The existence of aliens is more believable than any of this bee nonsense. Seems like there's a scene like this in every movie that involves the government or evil organization hunting the protagonist, doesn't it? Why do helicopters even try to look for their prey in the middle of a cornfield? Do they ever find anything? Put some boots on the ground, you lazy quads!
Scully!
Mulder!
Scully!
Polo!
Where'd they go?
Where indeed? These helicopters had a massive capture boner for these two, but after about a minute of searching, they bounced? What kind of evil government f***os are those f***os? Scully somehow makes it back to her meeting, even though she said she only had 11 hours. And this was before they had chased after the train, walked around the pop-up aviary, and waited out some helicopters. How the hell did she get back here from Dallas so quickly? Man who was wanted for possession of child pornography is able to hang out in a public restaurant without raising suspicion. This bee attached itself to Scully's jacket, stayed with her through the decompression, the chase through the cornfield, the entire flight from Dallas to D.C., and waits until now to crawl out. Hell, it doesn't even sting her until she gets all the way to Mulder's place. Some entomologist may come into the comments and tell me this is totally possible, but I disagree with that entomologist, and I will thusly award this movie 10 cents for its bee
Kurzweil! Kurzweil!
Holy Jesus, if they have another piss party out in this alley, I'm going to officially declare a state of sin emergency. Dining and dashing. What? Also, does Mulder seem like the type of person who would hold on to family photo albums? Maybe a few pictures of his sister, but entire photo albums?
Why did they assign me to you in the first place, Mulder? To debunk your work.
Expositional arguing cliche and a main character's fight before the third act of a movie cliche. How much should we pay for this cliche buffet? Ow! Back with another one of those cock-blocking beasts!
This is Special Agent Fox Mulder. I have an emergency. I have an agent down.
He called regular-ass 911 though, right? Does telling them you're an FBI agent really help move things around? If there's a special treatment for law enforcement, why don't they have a special agent number they can call to get help? Mulder survives this. Also, Strughold said earlier,
Then you must take away what he holds most valuable.
Implying Scully as the most valuable thing. So, was the plan to make sure they got to the aviaries and Scully got stung? Because how could they be sure Mulder would even go in the right direction and get to the aviaries? And how would they make sure that Mulder didn't get stung? And Scully didn't even get f***ing stung at the location. So, did they know one bee would be able to hang around on her person until the moment before Mulder and Scully made all the shippers cream themselves? This movie is fun, but goddamn, it's way too complicated for its own good.
Scully had a reaction to an Africanized honeybee we found in your hall.
How did these assholes get in here? Sure, he's on a mission, but how does massive head wound Mulder move around this easily after being shot in the head? I don't care if it glanced off his skull and all that other bullshit. He was unconscious for several hours and would not be ready to do calisthenics immediately after leaving. This character spends roughly 98% of his screen time in alleys. Why are they just choosing now to eliminate Kurzweil? And seriously, how did he get out of the child porn charge? The movie just conveniently forgets that plot thread.
The virus is extraterrestrial. We know very little about it except that it was the original inhabitant of this planet.
So that would make it just plain old terrestrial then, right?
This virus walked the planet long before the dinosaurs.
Mulder made it pretty clear he didn't believe the well-manicured man when he handed him Scully's coordinates, but he's going to believe this because reasons? Also, this character is actually credited as well-manicured man.
Your aliens, Agent Mulder, your little green men, arrived here millions of years ago.
And if you think that's nutty, wait until you get to the season where we find out the aliens wrote the Bible. This franchise, man.
Your father chose hope over selfishness.
This exposition has been going on for so long, I think they've made their way all the way down to Richmond. Mulder's going to have a hell of a time finding a cab that'll drive him all the way back to D.C.
Why are you telling me this?
I'm super curious about that as well.
For the sake of my own children.
Well, I'm pretty sure I'm perfectly fine with this franchise just asking the questions if all the answers are going to be that underwhelming. I get that he's worried about his kids, but this change of heart was conveniently sudden.
I was ordered to kill Dr. Kurzweil. as I was ordered to kill you.
Then it makes even less sense that the motherfucker in the ambulance shot Mulder. They sent this old bastard all the way out here to off a couple of major players, but this silent took it upon himself to do the honors.
The vaccine you hold is the only defense against the virus.
And yet 50% of the southeastern United States will still decline it once it becomes available to everyone. 48 hours! Mulder organized an entire expedition to Antarctica and got all the way here in 48 hours? Who the ass is his travel agent? The genie from Aladdin? Mulder runs out of gas, but luckily it's at the exact same time and place that he needed to be. He must have filled up at the local convenient co. You know, it's been pretty hot in DC, so I assume it's around summertime there, in which case Antarctica would be in winter, and there would be nearly no daytime light, let alone tolerable enough temps for a city slicker like Mulder to have his hood down. Anyway, all this to say that I think they may not have filmed this in the actual location from the movie. I'd like to take this opportunity to point out the horse that is binocular shots in movies. You ever hold a pair of binoculars for longer than a second? Doesn't matter how steady you think your hands are, that shit is bobbing and weaving all over the place. But in movies, the view is from a steady cam. Yes, I understand why they do it, but it doesn't make it any less sinful. Ooh, these magic binoculars even come with a zoom and enhance cliche built right in. I bet you can't get this model at your neighborhood Walmart. Mulder finds these alien hybrids completely on accident. And between this and the bomb discovery earlier in the movie, I'm wondering if he does any actual detective work. Hell, he wouldn't have even found anything at all if it weren't for Kurzweil shoving his conspiracy up his ass. Hotboxing nicotine in the snowmobile. I doubt the driver appreciates that, CSM. I know you're a dick, but do you have to be that big of a dick? Wow, this would be really impressive if I didn't immediately recognize David Duchovny was staring in wonderment at a moderately sized green screen right now. Not only is this convenient as hell, but would Mulder even have found Scully if he hadn't fallen through the snow? And once again, why didn't well-manicured man give him schematics or explain the base at all? It's not like there was a timetable or anything. I can't be certain, but I'm pretty sure Mulder would still hit that if Scully were up for it. Not where you give injections. Not ever where you give injections.
Abandon your posts! Evacuate!
I see the Syndicate went to the Monty Python School of Encountering Danger. Cigarette smoking man is not smoking a cigarette in this scene. Does that mean he's also not a man? Discuss. Scully and therefore movie has time for this. Guys, I no longer understand what is going on. And the X-Files were forever changed, now that Mulder has proof of extraterrestrial life and a multinational conspiracy to cover it up, and the inside info about the ultimate end of the human race. There's no way they would go back to Monster of the Week episodes, right? Right?
Scully, you gotta see this.
You better come take a look at this cliche. Frostbite.
Agent Scully.
How in the good goddamn did they make it back from f***ing Antarctica? Mulder's snowcat had just run out of gas, and it's not like they had a satellite phone on them or anything. This is the biggest mystery of the movie. Wow, the copy in the article about the virus actually kind of matches up to the headline. But the rest of the articles repeat the same line about some sort of recycling story, which, if you think about it, is appropriate. Sinful, but apt. Also, this newspaper page doesn't even contain any news.
So close to the truth. And now with what we've seen and what we know, to be right back at the beginning with nothing.
Cool your jets, Fox. I know you don't have a lot of evidence, but you got pretty much the entire story from the well-manicured man. And you just saw that alien shit up close. What about this character would lead us to believe that he'd consider all that shit nothing? For a guy that horks down a couple packs of Morleys per day, this asshole sure can endure a lot of cardio.
I'm feeling woozy here!